All right, so we got, was the God Emperor of mankind good or evil? Make sure you guys follow my Twitch at twitch.tv/KingAndy with two Y's at the bottom of the screen in the description. Let's go right to the video, man. Let's
Hey
go.
guys and gal, if anyone
What's up,
was said to
Majorkill?
be
How you
the
doing?
Warhammer 40,000, it would be the Emperor. But just like 40,000 Warhammers, it's unclear if he was a force for good or a force for evil. If you give 40,000 Warhammers to a bunch of baby killers, then evil. If you give them to a bunch of pedo hunters, then good. Okay, not the best metaphor, but you know what I mean.
Okay, here's what I'll say about this, right? What I've learned so far about the Emperor and stuff like that, because listen, I'm still a Warhammer new booty. But what I've learned about the guy is, at the end of the day, I feel like he has very good intentions, but it's just sometimes like his actions are, I mean, you know, he's only one man. You have to understand that he's only one man. He's a very, very, very powerful man. But at the end of the day, you have to understand that he is one guy. So from a couple of angles, what he do might, you know, be looked at as like good or whatever. But at the same time, from a couple of other angles, you know, his actions may be deemed as evil. So at the end of the day, you can never really, I mean, you can really like judge a person, whatever. But at the end of the day, man, you can never really, I guess, really full on call him a good or evil guy. Because at the end of the day, bro, like nobody's perfect, you know. And I'm speaking from, I'm speaking from the POV of a human. You know, I'm not perfect or whatever. But at the end of the day, I mean, I think, me personally, I think he's a good guy. I think he's a good guy. I don't think he's a bad guy at all. I think a lot of his intentions are good. Even though he might do some things for some things that might seem like, you know, bad or whatever to a lot of people. I feel like he's a good guy. Maybe that's just me though. Maybe.
Things. He is widely considered to be a pretty terrible father, has directly caused the death of countless sextrillions of humans, and has driven many alien races, some peaceful and innocent, into extinction. But it's not so black and white as that. Do the ends justify the means? Is it better to live in a grimdark society than to be destroyed? Was it only through the acts of evil that goodness can be maintained? It makes for an interesting discussion for sure. Before we get started, it's really not hard to get in shape. It just takes a bit of thought about what you should be putting in your mouth. So I've taken out the guesswork for you by partnering up with Lumen. Everyone is different. A diet that works for...
By the way, it's my own ad real quick. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel. Also, bro, most importantly, make sure you guys follow my Twitch, twitch.tv/KingAndy with two Y's, man. I know you're watching, all right? If you're watching, go follow the Twitch. It's going to take like literally less than 10 seconds, man. If you just click the red link to go follow it, man. Really appreciate it. And bro, I'm getting a new PC in like 2 months, by the way, so I could definitely be doing like a lot of stuff. So I mean, until then, we're gonna have to deal with, like, you know, me playing like video games from the console, you know, from the console, stuff like that. You know, listen, hood rat tendencies, you know, ghetto tendencies, but at the end of the day, you gotta start somewhere. So
It may not work for she, but instead of spending months playing trial and error while your progress stagnates, just use a Lumen by simply blowing and sucking on your Lumen. It will analyze your metabolism, but also what macros you should be consuming at what times for maximum results.
wait, how does that work?
Using this data, Lumen will then create a custom health plan that is tailored specifically for you. Work smart, not hard. Something I've started doing since I got my Lumen is carving up before my workouts. My Lumen told me that I should increase my glucose and glycogen before training so I get more endurance and power. And what do you know? I broke through my bench press plateau and managed to bench 115 kilos for 9 reps. A huge PB for me. This isn't just some BS gimmick science. They compared a Lumen with an expensive piece of medical tech that does the same thing, and the data was consistent across both devices.
well, all right. So listen, I know like they're not paying me whatever, and I'm kind of giving them free promo right now. Yo, Lumen, hit me up, yo, for the one time. So all you had to do is just like blow into the thing, and like they determine like your own custom workout, like regimen. How do they do that? Yo, that's crazy.
So to work smarter and biohack your health, then go to lumen.me/majorkill or just click the link below and you get 15% off your Lumen. Cheers to Lumen for sponsoring this video. Today we'll discuss the Emperor's character, motivations, intentions, and actions, as well as how he evolved to determine what shade of good or evil the Emperor actually was. Let's get into it. The Emperor may not have held Uncle Ben's hand as he
Let's get into it.
dying, but he knew that with great power came great responsibility. The Emperor was born as the greatest of the Perpetuals. Immortals with immense power. A peaceful, chill life was never on the cards for him, especially since he could see the future, and the future looked grim as hell. The galaxy was full of nasty shit, like the Orcs, Dark Eldar, the Crave, the Enslavers, and even the literal forces of hell. The Emperor knew that the only way for mankind to survive such a galaxy was to become strong and wage bloody wars for conquest.
Okay.
However, here is where the first ethical issue pops up. When mankind first struck out at the stars, we were very powerful. The Emperor was biding his time in the shadows, allowing mankind to spread throughout the stars with our amazing technology as well as our AIs. Now, he did know we would eat shit and have an AI uprising, but he allowed it to happen as far as we're aware. This war would break mankind apart, massively depowering us and leaving us vulnerable from when the galaxy-wide warp storms would appear due to the Eldar murder-fucking Slaanesh into existence. This would be known as the Age of Strife. As far as we can tell, the Emperor was actually pretty chill with all of this, like it was a part of his plan. After all, if you present yourself as a shining golden figure with a flaming sword to a bunch of advanced humans who could open up black holes for a laugh, you'd probably get laughed at for your gay cosplay and primitive tech.
Oh,
But if
wow.
you did it to a bunch of humans who had just endured 5,000 years of horror and devolution, they would probably think you're the coolest cat on the block.
True.
Mankind needed to be weak for the Emperor to take control of it. So you could definitely argue that it was evil to allow mankind to eat dicks during the Age of Strife.
I don't think that was. I don't even look at that as evil, because at the end of the day, I mean, especially if it was supposed to happen. I mean, now I don't know if he. Here's the thing, right? Part of me says, okay, cool. Like, yeah, he let it happen for him to for him to step through or whatever. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. If it's supposed to happen, it was supposed to happen. That's how I look at it. If it was supposed to happen, it was supposed to happen. Even if he wanted to stop it, I feel like it would still happen, if that makes sense. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I don't know.
They would be primed for you to take control. But to counter that, if the only destiny in which mankind thrived required them to first fall in the Age of Strife, then it could be argued that the Emperor did what he needed to do and was not just going for an opportunistic power grab. There's even some theories that the Emperor initiated the AI uprising to create the conditions for his ascension, but that is getting quite tinfoil hatty. In a similar vein, the Emperor did lie to Mars in order to manipulate them into thinking he was their Jesus, thus offering their services to him and his Imperium. However, confusingly, it technically may not have been a lie, since it was the Emperor who beat up the Void Dragon, locked it on Mars, and let its dreams seep into the Martian people that created the cult of the Mechanicum. So him being its Jesus is actually pretty accurate, as long as you don't talk about the dragon sleeping under Mars part of things. But once again, it's the moral dilemma of, is creating a fake religion to manipulate a culture of people into doing your bidding evil if your bidding is to protect and preserve those people? It's clear the Emperor will do what he must in order to achieve his goal.
You know what? That's kind of like a That's kind of like he basically just did like a white lie. Like, even though he did lie to them, it was for their benefit. So like, I wouldn't really look at that as evil in a way. Like, yes, he did lie to them, but at the same time, he didn't like deceive them for them to be like led into like ruin or something like that. He lied to him, whatever. But at the same time, he stepped through and helped them out. So at the end of the day, I mean, it's not. It's like bro. It's like, I would put that on like the same level as like your mom lying about Santa Claus. Like bro, when you were a kid, bro, we all thought Santa Claus would come down a chimney, even though, you know, some of us was born in the hood and we didn't have chimneys. Like, we thought Santa Claus would still come through. But like at the same time, you know, that's your mom. That's literally your mom lying to you. Like, even though, again, lying is bad or whatever, that's your mom lying to you, you know, because it's a white lie. Like, the lie is not gonna like really like affect you in a way. Like, you know, that's how I look at it.
Now for a bit of a character test. The Emperor originally gathered most of the natural-born perpetuals to him. He told them of his ambition to nurture and care for mankind, crushing evil and chaos wherever it may be found. Many of the perpetuals, wise as they were, agreed with his ambition and plan and helped him. However, one by one they realized the infinite scope of his true design, the obscene galactic wars and crusades he would need to launch in order to secure mankind's future. So they balked. Some went into hiding, some directly opposed him, and eventually all but to abandon him. The first that stayed true was Malkador, who understood the necessity of the Emperor's plan, no matter how destructive it was. And the next was Aleva Sarika, the perpetual woman the Emperor left on Molech to protect the Warp Gate Primarchs. Alevia probably would have ditched him as well if she didn't spend thousands of years away from him on Molech. So yeah, not a great look when humanity's best and brightest think you're the galaxy's biggest megalomaniac. From here, the Great Crusade would kick off, mankind once again exploding from its birth world to spread the galaxy's cheeks and commenced the clapping of all claps.
Oh, wow.
The Emperor was a lot like Julius Caesar in his conquest style. Any human world that joined the Imperium peacefully was welcomed with open arms. Even those that resisted were generally not just annihilated out of hand. They merely had their armies defeated and their cities conquered. Their people were allowed to live and join the Imperium. It was only when the humans were mutated or twisted beyond saving and engaged in especially evil or dishonorable warfare did the Imperium bring down the hammer and crush them entirely. Yes, there definitely was some...
Okay, so basically the Imperium, they gave him a chance. They gave like the humans a chance, whatever. But like you said, whenever like the humans were all like, you know, dignified and freaked out and stuff like that, then, you know, then they, you know, went through and crushed everybody. Okay, that makes sense.
Where the Imperium acted extremely uncoolly, such as the Iron Hands and Emperor's children tracking down a nomadic fleet of peaceful humans and aliens who just wanted to be left alone, or when the Lunar Wolves came to an alien world where the aliens abhorred war, so they settled their battles in arenas. When the aliens gathered in their arena to challenge the Lunar Wolves just blew up the arena and killed all the aliens from orbit. The genocide of many of the galaxy's Xeno species was definitely the most controversial part of the Great Crusade. However, the Imperium didn't necessarily have a kill-all Xeno policy. Peaceful Xenos were allowed to become client states of the Imperium, like the Jakeru. There was also multiple instances of peaceful interaction between the Imperium and the Eldar. However, it was case by case. The Emperor allowed each Primarch to conquer the galaxy how they saw fit. Some Primarchs, like Angron, had an extermination policy. Others, like Guilliman, were known to achieve a huge amount of diplomatic compliances. The Primarchs also had varying degrees of xenotolerance. Ferrus was infamous for his zero tolerance, whereas Horus actively tried to befriend the Interrex, a Xeno and human empire.
That makes
so
sense,
as long
though.
as the Primarchs were conquering, the Emperor didn't give a fuck how they did it. As a father, the Emperor was definitely inconsistent. For some sons, like Horus, he spent years side by side with them, creating an incredible bond. For others like Angron, he fucked him over hard, forced him into servitude, and upon discovery that Angron...
See, the thing is, right? Bro, he's paying child support for 20 sons. He has 20, well, I wouldn't say 20. Well, oh, bro, I forgot. 2 of them's gone, right? Like, aren't 2 of, like, the Primarchs gone? Bro, he's paying child support for, like, 18 sons. Obviously, his favorite son is Vulcan. But, like, bro, like, if I'm keeping it real, what I find interesting is, like, the whole thing with Angron and stuff like that, like, we actually reacted to, like, his story and stuff. Man, I do feel bad for him. You know, his story is definitely messed up. I see why, like, he's much more of a crash out. So, he's definitely more understandable. The thing I don't get, bro, is the Emperor was really like getting along, well, not getting along, but like the Emperor was really like cool with Horus, bro. And the fact that they end up like beefing and stuff like that, and you know, and the Emperor had to take him out. That's just crazy how. And listen, I don't know, you know, to any Warhammer connoisseurs out there, I don't know who the Emperor like hung out with the most, but I assume that it's Horus. It's just crazy how the Emperor was around Horus a lot, and you know, and I think the Emperor liked them pretty much. Like I think he liked them a lot, and then you know they end up beefing or whatever. But then like you know you got people like Angron and stuff like that, and I definitely feel bad for his story, man. I really do.
Was dying to the butcher's nails, the Emperor just shrugged and said, "A broken Primarch is better than no Primarch." It's often believed that if the Emperor just paid a bit more love and attention to his sons, a lot of the Horus Heresy nonsense could have been avoided.
Yeah, but then, bro, there's 18 of them. There's 18, bro. He's paying child support for 18 of them. I'm gonna be honest with you, like, bro. I know people like mothers and fathers, bro, who have 1 kid, and it's hard for them to even. And I'm not making an excuse for them or whatever, because like you know, like. You being a good father or a good mother, whatever, that is your responsibility. But at the end of the day, you know, man, like, bro, imagine you having 18 kids. Like, man, like, brother.
For some sons, though, he really went above and beyond. For example, Vulcan was actually one of the Emperor's favorites because out of all the Primarchs, Vulcan truly had compassion.
Not one of the. He was the. Well, not even was. He is the Emperor's favorite. You know, I just had to say that, you know, because. Majorkill said one of. No. There is no one of. He is the Emperor's favorite.
Kindness. He was very human, and whilst other Primarchs like Jagadai and Sanguinius were noble and kind, Vulcan took it to a whole other level. He didn't feel disdain and disgust for mortals like most of his brothers did. As such, the Emperor actually would appear to Vulcan numerous times as a psychic projection of someone humble, like a remembrancer, and would help Vulcan to maintain his cool and compassion in difficult times, such as the war against the Eldar on Caldera, or keeping Vulcan sane when he was imprisoned by Conrad Kurz.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, the Emperor did come through and help out Vulcan. I think he gave him like more. Yeah. because whenever Vulcan was struggling against like the little comrade guy, whatever he was getting basically getting tortured by him, whatever, the Emperor came through and helped him out. Yeah, I remember that.
He didn't need to do these things for Vulcan to maintain his purpose.
Yep.
He did it because he valued compassion. The Emperor's greatest goal was the Imperial Webway project. The Emperor wanted to help guide humanity in its ascension to become a psychic race while protecting it from chaos. That is pretty selfless and noble if you ask me. The Imperium during the Great Crusade, although demanding, was also in a bit of a golden age. Standard of living wasn't terrible, with there even being large-scale projects planned that would terraform Imperial worlds into verdant and lush paradise worlds. There was literally a plan for after the Crusade to restore Terra back to a biodiverse, beautiful world. The Emperor even had a massive, beautiful secret garden made with 20 Primarch-sized houses, implying that he wished to retire with his sons when their work was finished. When the Webway project failed and the Emperor's future predictions fell into disarray, he actually became the hero he always wanted to be. That is because he wasn't trying to chase this golden age fate anymore. He no longer knew what he had to do, so he just did what he thought was best. During the Siege of Terra, the Emperor actually began focusing his might on helping individual guardsmen, spending his strength to perform divine intervention to save mortal humans or inspire them and give them courage. Not because it was going to make a difference in the siege, but because he loved humanity. When Malkador had to ascend the steps to sit on the Golden Throne, an act that would kill him, the Emperor was shattered. His closest friend was about to give his life for the Emperor because of the Emperor's own failure. The Emperor then radiates sadness from then on to a point where other people can feel it around him. Whenever someone refers to Malkador as the Sigilite from then on, the Emperor corrects them and tells them it's Malkador the hero. The Emperor then fights Horus, knowing it will break him, and despite winning the fight, he then willingly sits upon the Golden Throne, knowing that every moment from now on will be complete agony, yet he does it anyway in order to keep mankind for as long as he can. At any moment, the Emperor can give...
This is why I think he's good, man, because at the end of the day, man, an evil person would never... An evil emperor would never sit here to make sure that that mankind is good or whatever just by his will. Bro, an evil person would never. An evil person does not have the heart for sacrifice. They don't have the heart for, you know, thinking about other people but themselves. Bro, an evil person don't have that. Like, evil people, you know, they're very self-centered. They're very, like, they don't care. Like, it's not a thing for, like, an evil person. So this is why I think the Emperor is a good person, man, because at the end of the day, yeah, cool, you can try to make some points of him not being a great person or whatever, man, but first of all, no one's perfect. That's number one, man. And number two, if he was an evil person, he would not be sitting here as a bag of frozen peas, trying to literally like carrying the entire like universe on his back. So
up and let himself finally rest, but he chooses to endure endless torment for mankind.
Yeah,
the Imperium in its
yeah.
current grim, dark, and horrific state was not the ambition of the Emperor. He sought a golden age for all of humanity, everyone living in paradise. No more wars, no more suffering. It was the workings of chaos and the weakness of men that created the current shitty conditions. We can't really determine his moral compass since becoming Galactic Skeletor Battery Man, since he is now more akin to a celestial entity than a man these days. However, he still seems hell-bent on protecting mankind and crushing chaos, so there's that. Overall, I wouldn't say the Emperor was an evil nor a benevolent man, in a similar way to how the Worm Emperor in Dune acted as a tyrant in order to follow the Golden Path, that being the only future in which mankind would survive. The Emperor did what he needed to do in order to ensure mankind's survival. He was ruthless and he made mistakes, but he wasn't a malicious or evil man. As soon as his golden path was obscured and he had to act purely off instinct with his own mind, the Emperor became significantly more humanized, compassionate, and morally good, sacrificing himself for humanity and actively trying to save the lives of those he cared about, like a Lannis person. Also, you cannot read the passage of Malkador sitting upon the Golden Throne without shedding a tear. Shit makes it rain. The best leaders are rarely
I gotta check that out.
If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel,
shout out to Majorkill, man, for this video, man. In my final verdict, I think that the Emperor is a good person. I think that he's a great leader. He's a great emperor. But maybe that's just me. Everybody has like their own, you know, I guess everyone has like their own like opinion on it, but it is what it is. I think he's a good person. So, and that's all that matters to me. Obviously, we all know Vulcan's like the best of the best, but you know, I think I'm just flattering myself right now. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure you guys follow my Twitch at twitch.tv/KingIndy with 2 Y's at the bottom of the screen. I know you're watching, okay? Go follow it, bro. Before you leave, bro, click the link in the description down below. It's going to take you right to my Twitch. Give it a straight follow. And other than that, man, I'm going to see you guys over here. Some out. And peace out.